Good afternoon, world. Shout out to you all from You Will Make It TV. We're back with another live stream, insightful, and inspirational topic. Of course, there's nothing inspirational about some of these topics. The inspiration itself is rooted from what we can learn from some of these stories and how we can apply it to our own lives. Of course, each and every one of us has a different path and purpose to serve as we count our days on this earthly realm and things like that. So I don't feel like life should be compared. I do like to shine light on certain stories and remind people, look, you can make it. Actually, you will make it. But it does take, because I don't know, I guess people waiting on me to say it. Yeah, I'm learning that more and more every day. It's going to take you actually, let me put it like this. We were born to defeat demons. If you're going to spend your whole life complaining about the demons themselves, how do you ever get equipped with what you might need to help you to defeat a demon that could be causing you so much, I don't know, it could be stealing your whole livelihood from you. It could be stealing your purpose, your destiny. But for anybody who needed an inspirational quote today, that's the one I have for us today. We were born to defeat demons. Humans, I believe that. I mean, but then they'll call you crazy if you walk around talking about you work with them and you've made peace with them. Well, I'd rather make peace with my demons to just have demons riding my back. But talk about a topic for the afternoon, right? Happy Friday to you guys there. Feel free to tune in to previously recorded segments as well. We just talked about Cardi B and Nicki Minaj last night. If you hung out with us here at You Will Make It TV last night, and we will be back with a weekend jam-packed full of other insightful topics too. Okay, so don't ever worry about the streams you miss, because I'm always coming back with with another one. Simply put, okay. So yeah, this story today is out of Missouri. Apparently, Missouri. Where is that? Kansas? Okay, so this elderly lady, this story just made me kind of upset. Because I can understand, especially when it comes to any rideshare program. You know what I'm saying? No, none of these ride shares are perfect to begin with. Uber, Lyft, we love them. We love them from the ground up. But guess what? They're not perfect. So if you're gonna say that about other people, you gotta understand that about businesses. Nobody's perfect, okay? The only issue with Medicaid rides not being perfect, now that's a problem. You're not asking them to be perfect, but they should be as close to trying to make sure all of their clients get back. I thought that's the point of Medicaid transport, actually. The whole point of that program was to safely transport safely now, because they do know some of these patients that they take back and forth from the doctor are disabled. Like this story right here, it was saying the 70-year-old woman has diabetes. She's in a 600-pound wheelchair and stuff like this, because people might say, why she didn't get her family to take her to the appointment. Okay, or others, you might have a special car seat or a special device that you have to take with you to the doctor. Maybe oxygen tank. Everybody's situation is different. So this is why these Medicaid transport rides were eventually created, to my understanding, to make sure no matter what your health condition is, you have a safe ride back and forth home to the doctor. It shouldn't matter if you have a oxygen tank. Uh, what are those things called where you have to put the air in your? It's just all kind of different disabilities people have. It shouldn't matter. Since when did that mean you struggle to get to the doctor? And once again, modern day times, why would that mean you should struggle to get to the doctor? You know. But then again, you have small town people out here trying to start rideshare programs to help the elderly. Uh, and yes, I'm referring to myself, because just because I haven't got it off the ground yet, not mean it's not coming. But this is why I saw a need 5 to 10 years ago, for more people to start, you don't have to have a driver's license to start a rideshare program. I saw that one black lady who had started her own trucking company, all the backlash she had got at one point, and people were like, yeah, it's a scam. She doesn't even have her CDL license. Who said you needed your CDL license to be the owner of a trucking business? That's retarded. I was one of those in her comments that was taken up for her. Not this elderly lady I'm here to talk about today. Uh, I'm talking about a whole nother business owner that had went viral on social media recently for starting her own trucking business. She said she started off with one truck. She didn't even have a driver's license. To me, that's the type of business potential they do try to come after too when it comes to us entrepreneurs out here. They want to well, do you have your license? Do you have your certifications? Are you up to par by state regulation? It's really funny. You went out here picking on regular people, asking them those questions, regular entrepreneurs that are just trying to get by and make it day by day. Guys, how do you hit the like button? Right here in the front of the screen, there's a thumbs up emoji here. You click that thumbs up emoji. This allows you to click the like button because not everybody knows that. I don't know if you guys didn't know, but I never mind explaining those steps right here. And then the golden bell at the bottom of your screen, that's how you're going to become a subscriber. You're going to simply click the golden bell. Then you're going to see it says subscribed with the ED at the end to confirm what you just did when you click that golden bell. When you become a You Will Make It TV subscriber, this means you automatically receive notifications every time we go live, share a new post, or a new short, okay? Like I said, though, they came down the lady's neck because she chose to start a trucking business without her license. Or people just said, oh, that's illegal. No, it's not. If she's not out there driving the trucks, how is that illegal? She's just a business owner. She's the investor. She's the one that put the money into the trucking business. It's like, what do people not get about that? Now, before you go worry about the entrepreneurs that's out here trying to start trucking businesses for themselves, how about we go worry about the Medicaid rides that are not picking people up on time, leaving people stuck at the hospitals, getting the addresses wrong to the destination. I am very disappointed in rideshare programs this year. Let me see. From at least 2020, since 2020, since the pandemic, I guess that's fair to say, I've seen a big shift in the commitment to the customers by rideshare program companies. I had to come put my 2 cents in. I just had to. Hi. Who put cheese on that for you? Who put cheese on that? Morgan, open it for your baby sister. So, if you, what I was saying is, none of the rideshare programs is perfect. There have been people who have their preferences Lyft over Uber or Uber over Lyft, just or even the taxis. People don't really talk about that too much, but taxis just about anywhere you go in the world, the prices have increased for just for a ride. Literally, like the rates per mile and all of this has it's not new news. That stuff has been increased, the prices, and I don't think people understand. So once again, you just have a lot of people that put themselves in the pot like, oh, I just want to compare myself to anybody. First of all, people with independent transportation cannot compare themselves to people who don't have independent transportation. And then when you had transportation, what kept happening to your cars? Like, were they breaking down? Was it the maintenance you couldn't keep up with? Was it the insurance? Because we know with people who suffer from real life disabilities, whether it's physical, mental, they probably can't drive themselves where they need to go every day. I'm so happy that whatever news story, it looks like it was Fox 2 News. That's where I'm getting my information from when it comes to this story. I will start stating that a little louder because people got to understand every news story. One story could be covered by like 15 different platforms. All 15 platforms is not guaranteed it's going to have the most updated information about the story and stuff like that. But then again, that's what the reporter's job is, to follow the stories and see what it was that really happened. But I just think it looks really bad that a lady had to call the news about that. But I see why it's serious. If you're on oxygen or got diabetes real bad, you know, any other time to be stuck anywhere is probably an inconvenience for anybody. But to just be whole stuck at the hospital, I thought we moved past those days already. Because yeah, once again, some of the reactions to this elderly lady's story is, where was her family? Why couldn't they take them? Don't you know? A lot of people with Medicaid have families. That's like a weird question to ask in 2025. Like, oh, why didn't that person just call a ride or pay somebody for a ride? Because I'm a be honest, there was a certain time and point in my life too, you couldn't beat me paying somebody for a ride. But people will study you through one season in your life and just believe that's how you operate. That's how, oh, okay, well, she paid people for rides. That's how she got around without a car. No, there are some people don't even do that no more. Well, I was using myself for example. Like, no, I don't even do that no more. Because times have changed a lot and you just don't know a person's schedule. I'm sure there's still some good people out there, like, they don't mind providing a ride if you providing the gas. And I used to be the type of person, of course I'm gonna have the gas. I don't have a car note. I don't have a insurance to pay every month. You know, my finances might look a little different, or what I once might have used to pay for a car note, insurance, and gas all the time might go towards other efforts. Some people really do sacrifice going without transportation just to have more money to invest in their business. I'm here to speak up for those. But Medicaid, that's just a whole perk that comes with your plan sometimes, where they transport you to where you need to go. As long as you have proof that you have an appointment. Where I do say that they should elevate, just not in the state of Kansas or what Missouri is going through. In all states with Medicaid should have been, I've been doing my best to like raise my voice and advocate about that. Yes, you guys provide transportation when people have appointments and stuff, but see, what people don't know is when it comes to emergencies, which our country should be very familiar with, they do not cover rides for emergencies. I think that needs to change, especially in the time of something like a homelessness crisis. That's something that's happening all over the country, which they have yet to declare the crisis. They'll declare the government shutdown a crisis, but people literally being illegally evicted and being neglected on their Medicaid plans and stuff is not a crisis. So I really do hope this lady does get some kind of explanation or justice. Most times they'll just respond, oh, we've been busy. Back to what I was saying though, since 2020, I do believe they've been busy. It shows like rideshare programs changed a lot since the pandemic. Number one, you have to have employees willing to drive people to their because we don't have robo technology that mastered yet, where we got like robo cars taking people to their appointments and stuff just yet. No, you still have to physically call and have those rides set up by human beings, right? She said that, just so people are, me getting back to the facts about the story, she said that she did book the ride, the pickup, and the destination, and for her to go back home after emergency services. So she was discharged from the hospital, and this lady was stuck at the hospital for 24 hours because her Medicaid ride was abruptly canceled. My thing is, I don't think stuff like that happens by coincidence. Y'all know, just because the ride is quote unquote free for the passenger doesn't mean that the services are free. Medicaid was always paid by somebody from somewhere. But Medicaid was never free. It's paid for through the taxes of other people. Just stating the facts again. So the taxpayers, if they're not concerned that, I don't know, taxes are being taken out to cover services like Medicaid and stuff, and then people missing rides, I hope more stories actually go, what's that called? Like public. Cause what I was thinking about is, if she didn't cancel the ride, which she's saying to her understanding she didn't cancel it, she was just waiting outside the hospital for her ride to come. Dream, come here, Momo. She was just waiting for her ride to come. And then she said it was canceled. So to me, it's just a sign of the possibility of another proof that these insurance scams be very real. And it seems like they come after people that they already feel like don't have nobody. Okay, what's the first sign that might show somebody that you don't have nobody? You're receiving whole government assistance. You're receiving Medicaid and SNAP and cash assistance or housing assistance. That's another reason I feel like a lot of this stuff might be getting budget cuts and things like this, because maybe that's the area where most of the scams and frauds, I mean, that's like the target areas. America's assistance. It's just sad to see, because America's assistance helped a lot of people get to where they are today. From immigrants to our regular citizens. For the past at least 50 years, if you needed assistance, America is one of those countries who did have programs. You go right on the website and you can apply for assistance. But everybody is getting all tight in the pants about the budget fundings and stuff that's being cut. When we find out there's all this kind of foul play and stuff going on right in the heart of some of these programs that were literally created to help the less fortunate. I'm sad to see it. I'm sad to see that people said, oh, you want to attack America's heart, attack their assistance programs. Clearly you see nothing but backfires on the other side of it. You know what I'm saying? You could be working so hard to cut assistance for one person, and then you wonder what's going on when it's cut for whole states, whole other parts of the country. And then when more people are suffering, that's when you want to pay the matter more attention. No, one person suffering, that's what these government assistance programs were for. And then who do you have when the government assistance programs start attacking you too? Just imagine, it looks like her son or a family member came and gave a statement where he was just like explaining why he couldn't physically transport his own elder. Once again, you might have a wheelchair, you might have things that patient needs to transport home with them that somebody with just an average car that's not built for disabilities cannot handle in a car. See, Medicaid rides, they come in the form of vans. I've never seen trucks, but they do have cars, SUVs, and maybe vans big enough to transport a person's equipment that they might need to carry home with them from the hospital. And yeah, a regular car can't always transport people like that. Um, I was just saddened to see that story, but at the same time, happy that the story got some type of coverage because it's probably more people going through that than we know. I don't like it because they are quick. I was just talking to, I think, a medical facility about that yesterday. Maybe y'all don't know, as the hospital reps and clerks and stuff, that there are people on the other side who will try to penalize you for missed appointments or miss miss checkups and stuff. But transportation has always been a whole reason that people maybe miss appointments or maybe can't make it to work. Like they have the ambition to work, they have the ambition to show up every day, clock in and clock out. But if you don't have transportation, that's always been a barrier for some people in America. Yep, something so simple, transportation. But I'm trying to tell y'all how I sat there and witnessed them try to tear a person down who was trying to start rideshare programs to be able to help disabled people or the homeless. The homeless, that's where my heart be, because we can understand them not having transportation. You already outside and don't have a home. Transportation for things like maybe making it, like they'll say call 211 services if you need food or help with utilities and all this different stuff. But even when you call 211 and you can write all the resources you want. Most of them, you're not finna get any help if you don't get the transportation to make it to quote unquote pick up the food, pick up your medication, make it to a doctor's appointment, make it to a job. How are people doing that with no transportation assistance at all? What I can say from experience, it does seem like certain states override other states when it comes to transportation resources that they do have readily available for their citizens or community partners and stuff like this. So shout out again, you guys will hear me reverence to Salvation Army and Catholic Charities a lot. They're just a program that tends to be in most states in America. And even them, I've been praying for them, Catholic Charities and Salvation Army, because it's like the little help you did have that was out here to help immigrants or refugees or victims of crimes or the homeless. People are attacking those, and it's being seen. What do I mean by them being attacked? They're some of the main places receiving budget funding cuts right now. Okay? And you did now that's just government assistance though. You know what I mean? I was just saying, let's remember how transportation was always one of the number one barriers and reasons that people did not arrive to their destinations. What do you mean? How can you just blame that on a person didn't want to oh, they're lazy. They didn't want to go to their doctor's appointment. Most people, yeah, they want to see a doctor when they're sick. They want to see a medical personnel when they're having some pain or they feel like something is going on with them. Okay, if you have a car, you just get in your car and you go there. Otherwise, just like the old-fashioned way, if you needed transportation to an emergency for an emergency medical visit, The only other way outside of that, if you don't have your own transportation or finances to book a ride through places like Uber, Lyft, or a taxi, then yeah, you have to call the ambulance. We all know what the ambulance is, 911. But you tell me what patient you know the ambulance took them back home. You see what I'm saying? It seemed like it don't matter, but I promise it matters, guys. Ambulance have only been known to take people to the hospital. They are not finna bring you back home. But we don't look at these as system glitches at all. Nobody ever asks questions like, hey, why are paramedics and ambulances allowed to take people to emergency services? We appreciate that. We appreciate them for that. You can get a person to the hospital. The person can get the help they need while they're at the hospital. But like this 71-year-old lady's story, once she got to the hospital, she just felt like she was and she did receive care. But after she received care and was discharged, she feels like she was neglected. She was left at the hospital with absolutely no ride. Imagine having to go to the restroom or needing to eat or needing a shower. Well, it didn't matter because she was stuck at the hospital. Thank God the woman had a cell phone or something where she could call and report, hey, I'm stuck at the hospital. Now we're just going back to the underlying reason of why she was left at the hospital, because I don't think I covered that part of the story. She was left at the hospital because she claims that even though she had, to her knowledge, she had a ride booked and scheduled for both a pickup, well, for a pickup for sure, a pickup from the hospital so she can go home. Somehow, her ride was canceled. Do we know what cancel means? It's the process of letting a rideshare program know you no longer need the ride. And she says that she don't remember personally calling to cancel her own pickup. Y'all can let it be little to you if you want to and say, oh, that has nothing to do with me because it's another woman. Okay. This should be scary to people, that people can go dig in your business and call themselves canceling a ride that you scheduled. You put the time in to schedule for yourself. They can just get it in the system and say, oh, canceled. I hope they investigate what happened with her Medicaid ride. Because, see, those rides are paid for and covered by people's insurance. But this the type of stuff people call themselves wanting to go play with, you know, to what's that called? Show their level and hand of power. Like, yeah, I can just cancel your Medicaid ride. That's crazy. I would say it's crazy for a person to think like that, and it's crazy that Medicaid allows anybody that's not you to cancel your ride. And I'm just trying to have people look at that. Like, am I the only one see that? Ride share programs have been going through some things, apparently. Number one, a lot of Medicaid plans have already admitted that they were short, what's they called? Dispatch representatives and drivers. Because, see, dispatch is going to be just as important as your drivers, right? They're the ones that pick up the calls so they can find out who needs transportation. People canceling people's rides, though, if that's not a sign of insurance fraud, it could seem like, oh, they just canceled my ride. No, they shouldn't be doing that, actually, without notifying the you need to be notifying the patient that you're canceling a ride. Because I experienced that before too. Like, just being whole, it's weird. Of course, when you're discharged, if you just leaving a doctor's appointment, you're ready to go home. That's just a doctor's appointment. But if you're being discharged from a whole hospital stay, you're definitely damn sure ready to go home. Right after you sign those discharge papers, get your prescriptions, and you're being checked out, you're ready to go home. Nobody should just be sitting outside the hospital trapped. But back to what I was saying, that was my situation one day. But by the grace of God, I was able to scrape up some money. Cause this day I'm talking about, if we hadn't have came up with some money, we were gonna be stuck at the hospital too. I would say our story is not any less relevant than this lady just because she was 71 years old. Anybody that's just being discharged from the hospital is ready to go the fuck home. They don't want to be trapped sitting there stuck at the hospital. And they got Medicaid. What does that make Medicaid look like? It's unprofessional to have people's rides that are booked to go home be abruptly interrupted and canceled. What I think is that lady's ride could have been paid for and booked and scheduled, and somebody took that money by canceling her ride and probably still used the funds that they were going to get to provide her that ride. And look, the lady was left, she was the one, you know what I'm saying, suffered the loss. Baby. And if I was her, any medical thing she felt like she experienced because they left her there, I don't know. That's why a lot of don't y'all notice that? I heard a lot of hospitals are laying people off, and some of the hospitals are just whole closing down. I don't know what that's about, but some say it's due to some people quit or whatever. So it goes back to being able to staff these medical personnel, these medical facilities. People forgot that without the staff there, it doesn't matter how much you go to the clinic or the hospital. You don't have staff there, you're not going to get any help when you get there. Yeah, if you don't have people to keep these places staffed. Now, that's not just the doctors, the nurses, the medical assistants, the registration people who work at the clinic and hospital desk. That would also be the paramedics, the drivers for the Medicaid rides. If you can't keep those places staffed, don't you dare turn the blame to the patients about why. It's just stupid why they're not making it to their appointments. It's definitely something I definitely like spoke up about that years ago. It was times I had scheduled rides to appointments and stuff too, and you call them back and be like, "Oh, y'all never showed up. What happened?" And they'll just tell you something along like, "Oh, your ride was canceled." I challenged that back then. I was like, "What you mean it was canceled? If I didn't call and cancel it, how was it canceled?" Sometimes they would just be like, "Oh, we were short drivers." Once again, it was unheard of until the pandemic happened, because a lot of places faced work shortages. Because whatever job you might be working and you're a driver, you never have room for shortages. As soon as you start experiencing shortages when it comes to drivers, you're also going to experience shortages in your money too. just from not having enough staff to cover the rides. So what I think they could have did to implement some kind of bridging gap bridge, however I'm trying to say it. If you know that you don't have enough staff to start helping people get to their rides, that's still not an excuse to neglect people who had appointments. They have another part of some of these Medicaid insurance plans that will actually reimburse you the gas mileage travel price so you can get to your appointment. Now, I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this or if they take the time to read through their Medicaid insurance plans, because they do send you a packet. That's one of the first things they do once you are first approved on one of these plans. They'll send you a packet saying, whoop, whoop, whoop. These are all the benefits that come with your plan. And if you don't have access to it, most times you can call the toll-free number on the back of your insurance plan card, and they can also help you to access those type of records. Like, hey, what all comes with my plan? Because it's not just the calling and booking rides for appointments. They also can reimburse you. I think you have to probably submit the request a week or two before your appointment, because they need time to mail you the funds. It might be bus passes, or I think they do vouchers, or they'll just reimburse you. You know, they'll calculate the mileage versus how far the appointment is away from your home or your pickup destination. From getting there to getting back home, they'll calculate it and send you the money. I know this to be true because though it hasn't happened for me much, I have experienced that. Maybe like, because I have 4 kids, and it was just in between you were pregnant. And pregnant, we know those are not the kind of appointments that one should miss. One should or shouldn't miss. Pregnant, you need to be at every appointment, no matter who you are. So, it was a time, I don't know why, but, oh yeah, I remember. A lot of people don't know that too. A lot of times with the Medicaid rides, only the person who's helping the person transport to the appointment and the patient, usually it's advised that only the patient and the person that's going to be helping the patient at their appointment, not the medical personnel, but like maybe a parent, a guardian, or, you know, they will allow one person to ride. And this is just the same with paramedics. You can usually have one person to get on that ambulance with you. But let's say you have 5 kids and one of them have an appointment. It's not always promised that Medicaid transports, you know, the whole family. They're going to cover a ride for the whole family to get there just because that one person has an appointment. It's just a lot of in-between stipulations that people are not aware of. But they quick to go jot down and write down, oh, a person's not making it to this and that appointment. Make sure the Medicaid transport rides are doing their jobs too then. It was a time one of us needed a medical procedure, and I promised for a whole 3 to 4 months. Every time we rescheduled the procedure, because every time we rescheduled it, they would have to reschedule it for a month out. Certain specialists only work, you know, they don't even work at these medical facilities every day. Like, depending on what kind of specialist you are, you might only be in the building once a month because you got other facilities to travel to help people. That's the real job of a doctor or a specialist. They're not just at one facility all day 24/7. Some of these specialists, you have to catch them when they are available. So your appointments are more surrounding when they are available these days. No, not every specialty department is open 24/7. You are more scheduling and booking your appointments around their availability. Medical personnel, clinics, and hospitals have always been this way. Now, they might let you pick the time, like, oh, but as far as when the specialist is available or the doctor or the surgeon is available, that's never been our choice as the patients. Your only job is to try to get a time that works for you to come in. But like I said, that also doesn't help patients when. But yeah, like we have never been the ones to choose when medical, when their availability is, when it comes to specialists and doctors and those that might only work once a month, literally at the facility that's your home facility. So we do care. You will make it TV. This stream is to help to shine light in a beneficial way on the inconsistencies that sometimes people experience with Medicaid too. So I'm glad Fox 2 News or whoever that was out of Missouri did shed spotlight on that story about a whole 71-year-old lady. Like, is this just the beginning? This is just the beginning of these kind of stories, especially if funding is going to continue to be cut. Remember, the disabled and the elderly are going to continue to be the first priority of these kind of services, no matter what budget funding cuts we're going to expect now or in the future. They're always going to be a priority. So you mean to tell me that even the disabled and elderly are experiencing inconsistencies? Because, they are considered the priority customers, clients, and patients. Never should you be hearing they accidentally got left at the hospital. That is stupid. In some of these states, y'all remember on the news was covering that a lot of patients were being put out of hospitals. What was it saying? Like they was just finding patients stuck outside of the hospitals. Like, I don't know. And once again, to me, it shows sign of insurance scam. And then you got a lot of people just running around now like roaches trying to scatter. Like, no, I don't know nothing about that. No, question all the hospitals. All of them could be guilty of it. Like, we want to see all y'all bank statements and records because they were so quick to get in people's business and tell people what to do. That's another thing. Doctors really do that. They've been known to do that. They will say that you have a say-so and a right when it comes to your health or somebody you love's health. That's the whole point of, what's that called? Verbal consents or written consents. Doctors don't just go in there performing surgery on somebody or doing something because they think it's best. Usually there's some consent or some form that has to be signed or some insurance documents that have to be signed before a person even get care. So yeah, they can be looked into. Yeah, why are people missing Medicaid rides? Why are the Medicaid ride staff so busy or so understaffed that people cannot make it to their appointments? But you're already doing budget funding cuts. I wouldn't have did cuts until I did a proper thorough investigation on these hospitals and clinics and their protocols and procedures when it comes to how they're handling billing and coding and people's insurance plans. If a person already scheduled their ride, yeah, I agree with that. How is it canceled if they didn't cancel it? Talking about, oh, well, we were a little busy that night. Okay, you send another ride for the person. Like, what they got to do with the patient? And she was 71 years old, just stuck at the hospital. Now, see, if something would have ended up happening to her, her life would have been put in danger or anything, then nobody would have wanted to take accountability. Nobody would have wanted to look into why she was at the hospital standing outside so late in her wheelchair. Investigations be like, oh, we didn't know, we still trying to figure it out. No, that's how people get abducted too, being stuck places that they had arranged rides to be picked up from. They shouldn't be stuck nowhere. And she was a woman. It's not looking good, Medicaid. It's not looking good in the state of Kansas, Missouri out there, that story went mainstream like that. What does that say? What does that say about Medicaid? Like, why? Once again, for those that are just getting filled in on the story, she definitely scheduled a ride to pick her up. Sometimes the nurses and social workers will help you do that too. Like, they'll ask you right around the time you're finna be discharged, do you have a ride home? That's your moment to let them know if you need help with a ride home. whether you have a car or not, whether you have insurance or not. Because they're going to try to say, oh, well, a normal thinking person, a balanced person would go to the hospital when they sick. Stop playing like we don't know that. So what are the other reasons in between that a person might not make it to the hospital while they sick, though? So you're going to say Medicaid perfect? They making sure everybody get to their rides and stuff, huh? Obviously not, because this 71-year-old lady was stuck in her wheelchair outside after being discharged from the hospital. I don't think that's safe at all. First of all, for her health. What if it would have been cold outside? Y'all know the winter months are coming up. Snowy, icy weather. It's really right around the corner at this time. Probably in the next 14 days, we can start expecting to see snow in some states. My heart goes out to that lady, and I'm happy for Fox 2 News out there out of Missouri for covering that story, because we need to know. Maybe some of us had already experienced something like that, and you just thought it was coincidence. Like, oh, I'll just reschedule it. I'll reschedule the appointment. That's okay, Medicaid transportation. That you were understaffed or you forgot to pick a person up. No, that's not okay. That is people tax dollars helping to pay for Medicaid too. They only want to mention their tax dollars when it comes to housing and other stuff they feel like people shouldn't have. Okay, well, healthcare is a whole necessity, sweetie. Especially when you're in an older age. Especially when you have young children. Just certain things I feel like is a priority if the people need the help. What's the point of having the help when the help can now dictate when it helps you? Help can be offered. Let me break it down like this. Help can be offered or asked for. There's no in-betweens. Offered is when somebody just offer you help. It's up to you to say yes or no. But a person asking for help, that's a whole different category of conversation. Come here, boo-boo. Come on. Yeah, let's talk about the definition of assistance and help for a second, ladies and gentlemen, here at You Will Make It TV. Because some people are still under the impression that help is only can be help if money's involved. It always got to cost somebody some money. No, it don't. One thing about help, it can only be offered or asked for. Once I started to look at that in life, yes, I felt like I could do a little more things independently. Because then once I asked myself that, like, okay, help, what is help? Help can be offered or asked for. Now you just looking at the pros and cons to what you receive if you ask and what you receive when it's offered. So what, that makes you some better person because help is actually offered to you? And you want people to believe, look how many people offer, they just offer me help at my, what is that called? Sorry guys, that is something we're known for. We might take slight pause breaks and stuff when I'm talking to or dealing with the kids in the background. For You Will Make It TV's kids are homeschooled here, so we work and homeschool. I'm vocal about it because it's not about bragging or telling people they should live how you live. It's real funny. People will study how you live, whether they tell you that or not. And they'll say it's something wrong with what you doing. But right after you get penalized for it, you see them somewhere doing it. And it really doesn't make sense, because if what I was doing is so wrong, why would you turn around and do the same thing? It's like people be trying to prove, well, I think it's not equality if me and a person do the same thing and that person don't go to jail. That's what they be on. So you got to go a step above their heads or something too. Just like with this topic we're talking about. Before you judge a person and how often they're getting to their appointments and when they do or don't, make sure Medicaid is doing their job. Thank you. We know Medicaid has always served its purpose for the most part. But then again, they only serve so much of a purpose. When you need more costly procedures, maybe like a new heart, a new kidney transplant, a new blood transfusion. Now, procedures like that are more costly, and it might be procedures that Medicaid do not cover 100% of the cost. That's why you have people on waiting lists for hearts and lungs and stuff like that right now. And the doctors are telling them, hey, if you don't get a heart in 3 months, 6 months, or something like that, you might not make it. So anyways, I know that my topic is right on time, but it is kind of late, just pertaining to people's concerns they've been having when it came to, the abuses that could potentially be going on with people's Medicaid insurance plans. I guess they felt like it was a more easier target because it's Medicaid. But see, that's the worst target you could have chose, because that's people tax money, too. That's people tax money, child support payments. Because child support also helps to pay for and cover people's children's Medicaid plans. I'm just trying to give a little. They said the devil hide in the details. I've been saying it a lot in my streams here on several topics on that cover different situations in the world. Okay, if it's been so hard to discover so much, then let's start there. The devil hides and lives in the details. That's why people beat themselves up sometimes when they have an awakening about something, because they like, oh my God, this was in my face the whole time. Sometimes it is in your face, but still, how is that? What does that have to do with you? That's the thing about when it comes to being a witness to certain things in life. Not many people ask to be a witness of things that they became a witness of. But people get mad at you for what you witnessed. Like, it's just stupid. They have no problem making you the culprit of sacrifice, or making you the person who has to suffer on the other side of their careless mistakes. But then get mad when you speak up about how it affected your life. That's called deflecting. That's called, I don't hear how what I might have did to you affected you. That's not taking accountability at all. Whether it's an organization, a company, a business, or another person. I love how God just stepped in and it's like, okay, divine intervention. If we're gonna come from my divine people, my chosen people, those that I never asked anybody assistance to help me with, because I created them wonderfully and beautifully, then we're gonna look at everybody. But they say in some countries healthcare is just absolutely cheaper, right? And then we saw the reality of that too, because cheaper doesn't always mean quality. What? They said it's cheaper to keep her. So people would go to other countries like, oh, well, I'm going to go get a procedure done over here on my teeth or on my body. I think the teeth is understandable, because that's not like a whole BBL or nothing. Because dental work is expensive. I think everybody just about knows that, especially in America. But there are people who travel just to get a more affordable. They're not trying to deal with insurance and everything that come with that just to get a Medicaid plan. And I've never heard Medicaid covering somebody's BBL anyway. If I ever hear that, it'll be a first for me. Or I'll just be like, oh, I didn't know they do that. Now, they might cover certain procedures if the weight or something going on with your body is life-threatening. But just you going to the hospital saying, hey, Medicaid, I want a BBL, it's just unheard of. That's not a necessary procedure for people to live. Even doctors agree you're better off with the natural body you came with. You know, a lot of people think I be coming for people with BBLs, not knowing that I've even entertained the thought sometimes of maybe having certain procedures done to augment my own body, right? But then it's like, soon as I start speaking about it out loud, that's when a lot of information came out too about what other people, because it's not just women who get body procedures. People forget that too. Every day somebody waking up wanting to be something else that they're not. Talking about, because if they just put the word freedom on it, then it looks harmless. Like, well, I'm free to be whatever I want. I mean, if what you want to be finna cost you $30,000-$50,000 for a body procedure, that's really crazy. Is it really natural? So more stories started getting exposed of like how sick people got, or how some of these procedures were botched, but people thought it was cool to go somewhere and get a procedure just because it's cheaper. So either way, we all go through our, I'm not going to tell people how to live. If you got to go somewhere to get a procedure done cheaper, I feel like people shouldn't judge you. That's your freedom. That's your right. Because are they going to pay for it? And in America, yeah, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Literally, it might cost you a whole arm and a leg just to have certain procedures done. If we notice the most vital things in the medical healthcare industry, the most vital things they know people need. For example, formula for babies, right? It's one of the most expensive things on the shelves. It's always been. Because they like, well, the baby only going to need formula for the first 10 months of life. And sure, that's a for sure way we can get money for 10 months every time somebody have a baby, right? So why put the highest possible price on it, though? It's a whole thing that babies need. I'll be back with a part 2 shortly, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Morgan, it don't sound